this out. Check this out.
Welcome one and all to another amazing night here in Tranquility.
We absolutely are in for a treat of a match here tonight, no question about it.
And the grenades from Pomku eliminate everybody on the field.
Now I'm between something as well. It's going to be a fly death and death buff them, and it's going to be huge. Fighting three.
The double kill with the Bastion ulti? Alright, I see you guys.
be well. Look to find a stick there, finds the stick, they find two with it!
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
And Cam with the 4-man punch off the map!
Experience tranquility.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Tranquility Gaming Season 11 regular season coverage. Tonight, we mark history as we bring you the first feature match for the newly established, uncapped Ascendant Tier. My name is Bowsy, and I'm joined here by Clock on the cast. And Clock, we're ready for such an amazing cast here with two amazing teams.
This is going to be an exciting matchup, Bowsy, and it's really exciting that we get to cast the first match for the Ascendant Tier. A lot of people have been wanting something like this for a while, and it's nice that we have this uncapped tier finally.
Absolutely. If you aren't aware, with Tranquility, for the past 10 seasons, we have been a league that has not, or a tournament, excuse me, I'm going to get mocked for saying the L word, a tournament that has focused primarily on development and growth, and so we've had tiers with limits to the level of skill that you would allow now for players. However, we've had a lot of people graduate since then, and we have decided to make the decision here in Season 11 to open up the floodgates and begin an uncapped tier with the Ascendant Tier, our fourth tier of the Tranquility Season 11. So definitely going to be interesting to see, and these two teams, as I mentioned, Clock, are probably going to be some of the best we see in Tranquility.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot out of Volcanic this season. Obviously, they've been towards the top of the Transcendence tier for the last couple seasons, when they were known as Guangzhou Gangsters, and I'm expecting no different as they move up to Ascendant.
Yeah, definitely. Guangzhou Gangsters is a very well-known team, two-time Transcendence Tier champions, winning Season 8 and Season 10, respectively, so they have a very stacked roster here with Volcanic coming into the Ascendant Tier, bringing on most of that roster, but also bringing on players that may have not qualified for that original Guangzhou Gangsters roster. On the other side of the board, you have Desert Flame, which has a lot of unknown players here to Tranquility, either players that have returned after a few seasons or are rookies. The only player I could identify so far is Zasper, who played for Avalon in the Discord season, so it'll definitely be interesting to see what this team has up their sleeve as we're about to start the series with our first map on Antarctic Peninsula.
Yeah, Antarctic Peninsula, this is going to be a good map to go into. I believe both teams are playing ERE tonight, so we get to see something new on the broadcast. First match for the Ascendant Tier and a brand new hero to go with it.
Absolutely. So typically, Tranquility rules do not allow a hero to be played unless they are eligible in competitive. However, both of these teams have agreed to allow Ilari, who is eligible tomorrow in competitive, to be played in this matchup. So we are in for one heck of a time seeing both of these teams unleash that brand new hero. And it's mean there's going to be a lot of different compositions that we see out on the field here, Clock.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of different compositions, but we might end up just seeing a lot of teams have been running the Orisa Ilari BAP comp, and I get the feeling we're going to see a lot of that tonight from these two teams.
Definitely. I've been able to see a lot of that Ilari compositions over in different tournaments and different matchups, so we'll definitely see how these two teams are going to adapt the style there. It typically has one sort of set style with four heroes being the same, but that fifth hero can rotate around. You can have different heroes in that fifth slot, but we'll have to see what these two teams are planning on as we are starting off here on Icebreaker, where you get to see these wonderful penguins strolling around all the rocks, and if you're lucky, you'll get the spawn room where the penguins are sitting in the outskirts.
These penguins are so cute. They need to be featured more heavily on this map. Please get on this, Blizzard.
We'll definitely see if they decide to do that, but right now the two comps being shown right now, Desert Flame showing what we expected, the Orisa Ilari composition that has been seen in the meta recently. However, Volcanic switching it up here a bit, Clock. They're not running that composition, they're running something purely last meta, I would say.
I feel like this is more just them going for a comfort solution and just not fully being comfortable on that Ilari yet.
It could be the case here as the spawn doors are about to open, and we'll see what these two teams have in store. Volcanic coming out with that Ramatra composition, Recurve switching over to the May, while Desert Flame comes out on this Orisa composition. The most interesting thing, no Torbjorn from the Desert Flame side, as they are not going to be running that Torbjorn so far, but already a good start here for the side of Desert Flame, finding that first kill onto Cam already, now stopping Volcanic in their tracks. Oni starting to clean up the field here on that Soldier 76, and the rest of Desert Flame just cleaning up Volcanic, and it's going to be Desert Flame taking that point first.
What a clean fight there from Volcanic. The quick early pick from Oni showing the strength of this Orisa composition. You have 5 people who can just obliterate you instantly, and that is going to be a huge strength of Desert Flame's comp.
Yeah, definitely. Now Volcanic making some wholesale swaps, changing every single hero in their lineup to a more dive-oriented composition. Coconut, Recurve, Cam, Truedunger, and Slimal all changing their comps here. Already a good sleep coming out from Truedunger onto the Orisa, and Coconut is able to burn down Oni on that Soldier 76. So the Vara now has less threats to have to deal with. And now Zasper out of the picture as well means Recurve is just going to be sailing in these skies, threat-free right now. Shrugs gets killed out by the anti-nade here, as now the rest of Volcanic bringing themselves onto the point. They'll cap the point for now.
What a good switch there from Volcanic, switching to something that they believed would serve them a little better, and it did. Clearly showing that this pharmacy comp is going to be something of comfort to them in order to break this Orisa bunker style.
Definitely. We'll see what the move is going to be here from Desert Flame. Looks like they want to try to go the wide route. No, they're going to be going straight toward the center here to try and focus on this Pharah. Oni and Sludge both shooting from afar, trying to get rid of that Pharah, as Cam's going to be rolling in on the Wrecking Ball, just trying to pepper in damage. Coconut there for the follow-up. Unleashes the Pulse Bomb. It does get rid of the Immortality Field here from Zasper. Very good placement there to keep everybody alive, but Oni ends up dying in the aftermath to Cam, who probably bowled a strike there. Cam still looking for more on this Wrecking Ball, just bowling through the entirety of Desert Flame, as Volcanic just constantly staggering out Desert Flame and continuing the hold for their own.
Yeah, Cam on this Wrecking Ball doing a great job of being able to disrupt this bunker comp to be able to get rockets in from Recurve on the side. This side angle here from the pharmacy is putting so much pressure on Desert Flame, and they got to figure out a way to pressure him out.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, it's going to be interesting to see what Desert Flame's solution is. Coming through the main once again. 6 did die late in that fight, so they were waiting for their Orisa to come back. 61% here for Volcanic, so we'll have to see if they're able to keep that percentage taking. Recurve now has the barrage in hand, is looking for the perfect opportunity. Nano Boost applied from Truedunger, now unleashes the barrage into the face of Zasper, who will end up dying. The Javelin does cancel out the barrage, but Recurve is still on a rampage. Finds 2 in this fight, looking for the third here onto Shruzzix. Will get killed out by 6, but the rest of the cleanup coming in here from the side of Volcanic, and now Desert Flame in last fight territory to try and get this point back.
Yeah, the Captive Sun came out there from the Illari as they do find Coconut. This Captive Sun isn't really easy to get value on against that comp. Everyone's too mobile, nobody's really grouped up. You're not going to be able to trigger those explosions and set off that chain reaction against this comp.
Now here comes Desert Flame onto the point. Window used early here by Zasper to try and give some control. Slimal's out of the fight, courtesy of a healer's rocket from Oni, but Recurve is able to answer back. Make that 2 so far for Recurve in this fight. Coconut cleans up the kill into Shruggix as well. The point will be able to flip over, but all that's left is Zasper and 6. The Terra Surge used here by 6, trying to turn it around, is able to get that kill onto Truedunger, as Cam just going to be trying to roll all the way over to Zasper with the help of Coconut. Will get that kill. Beautiful Pulse Bomb stick coming out from Coconut as well to put more pressure onto 630, but at the end of the day, Desert Flame just barely sustaining. 630, 28 health in the name, will eventually fall here to Cam. Now the Tactical Visor comes out from Oni, trying to burn down the Wrecking Wall, will be able to get that elimination here, and Desert Flame just barely stabilizing, but the foundation looks extremely rough here.
Yeah, they do stabilize for a second, but right now 6 is switching over to the Wrecking Ball himself, as Shrugs is going to die, and so is Sludge.
Already 2 picks in favor here for Volcanic, going for the aggression once again. Recurve with this Mercy Pocket of Slimal, looking for more kills into the backline. Sees Zasper, forces out the Immortality Field early here as Zasper tries to fight for their life. So far, not a lot to really get as Zasper ends up getting a rocket straight to the face. Overtime now triggered here as Volcanic flip back the point in their favor. Sludge is there for the touch, but will end up getting a rocket straight to the face, courtesy of Recurve. And the overtime wick will burn down, and Volcanic will take the first point so far in this series.
Great adaptation there from Volcanic. They saw that their initial comp was not going to work against the Orisa comp. They quickly identified what they wanted to do differently, and they executed it to near perfection.
Definitely a good move there from Volcanic, as now we head over to Antarctic Sub-Zero. This is the one with the hard ceiling that you really have to try and make advantage of here. So we'll see if Volcanic decide to stay on this composition that we saw them on, but Desert Flame, they're going back to that Orisa comp here, Clock.
Yeah, that's probably something they've been practicing in scrims all week in preparation for this match. I'm not sure when the teams actually agreed to the Illari allowance, but this is probably something they've been working on for the last couple weeks, if I had to guess.
Absolutely so. Desert Flame coming back on this composition. Volcanic making the swap over to the same composition of their own, so not running any sort of shenanigans here, running the mirror composition here on sub level. So we'll see if works in the favor of one team or the other. Volcanic right now making that aggressive push here with Cam in the forefront, using that Fortify, just trying to move forward. Javelin Spear from 630 does land on a 1-member Volcanic, but he does get pushed back by Cam. The Javelin's been from 630, using the aggression here. The Javelin Spear from Cam landing into the back line as Cam's going to be booped back onto the point here. So Desert Flame get that high ground, but Volcanic will get the cap.
Yeah, the May here from Oni is going to be huge compared to the Soldier from Coconut. The ability to wall off the Orisa here could result in some kills for Desert Flame that Volcanic is not going to have the opportunity to get.
Yeah, definitely Volcanic still looking for that first pick. So far, no blood exchange on either side. A little bit of wounds, but there are bandages there to keep everybody up and alive. 630 looking for this aggressive angle right now. That's the second time that their weapon is actually overheated, but now Recurve answers with a railgun shot into Shrugsix, gets rid of the Illari, so the Captain's Son now offline here for Desert Flame. Immortality Field now forced out here from Zasper, and now the rest of Volcanic just pushing forward. Terra Surge invested for good measure as Volcanic continue their hold.
Yeah, that was a good ult at the end actually from Cam though. They might have had a chance to back out, but the Terra Surge just denying any ability they have to back out. The kill on the Shrugs, meaning that they couldn't go for the Captive Son, is huge because now True Donger has had a chance to build up one of his own. So we're going to have the matching Illari ults here, and it's all going to be about who manages to follow up and set off that chain reaction of explosions.
Yeah, one of the biggest chain reactions that you can set up here is a Terra Surge and a Captive Son here. So we'll see what the plan is here for Desert Flame. They want to take the low ground here, try to bait Volcanic down to the point. Healing Pylon put in the rough spot here. Slimeolt engages with the window on the high ground here. Now Desert Flame forced into this corner. Here comes the Captive Son from True Donger, lands onto multiple members, but Zasper able to eliminate True Donger thanks in help to Shrugsix using their own Captive Son on the opposing Illari. Sludge, however, out of the fight. Coconut able to get that kill there. Cam trying to stabilize, but now Recurve is out of the fight as well. Mayult comes out here from Oni. The Blizzard now landed on the point as Zasper, sorry, not Zasper, Slimeolt in a rough situation will get burned down by 630. Now 630 trying to battle it through. Goes the Terra Surge onto the point, gets a lot of damage into Coconut and Cam, and both of them will fall. And the point will flip over at 90% for Volcanic. Desert Flame now in control.
Yeah, Desert Flame might be in control, but with Volcanic at 90%, this is one fight territory, but Volcanic has burned through every single one of their ult economy. The closest thing they have is the Terra Surge, and that's going to take a little bit to get online. It is all about the neutral fight and who can get a pick here early.
Yeah, it's going to be determinant on that first pick. Desert Flame also making the swap. Oni back over to the Soldier, no longer on that May, so we'll see if that extra damage will play dividends here for Desert Flame. Recurve looking for that sneaky angle, knows the Zasper is there. Meanwhile, Coconut on the point, trying to get a sneaky cap, forces down 630 as now Cam is running rampant in your front line. Cam, however, gets shoved into a corner and gets burnt down by Oni, so now Volcanic out their main tank, and Desert Flame trying to take advantage of it, and they're going to be able to take even more advantage of it with that Captive Son coming out from Shrugsix.
Yeah, the Captive Son, I don't really like the commitment there as Cam was dead early in the fight, and so without their tank, Volcanic isn't fully committing, but with Shrug going down right there to the headshot, Volcanic now has a window to get back in this without that ult to deter them.
Yeah, the Terra Surge comes out here from Cam, trying to land on the multiple members. Does get a lot of damage pumped into Zasper, but is unable to get the finishing blow. Now 630 back to the point, gets burnt down by Coconut, who's trying to turn this around, but Oni is on the point to equalize in the Soldier duel. Oni finds two in the fight, looking for a third on the Slimeolt in the backline, but is forced out by Recurve to try and focus on a different target. Now the overclock popped here by Recurve, trying to turn the tide here, but so far has not been able to find it. Tips him one shot into Oni. Oni's just trying to keep this alive. The healing pylon from Shrugsix is there to keep that Soldier alive until he gets booped out of the way. Now the flip going back in favor here for the side of Volcanic. 93% on the board. 630 on that Doomfist. Will get the dive in. Diving straight onto the Baptiste of Slimeolt. Point cap going in favor here for Desert Flame as now overtime is triggered. Tree Donger, beautiful Captive Sun landing on the multiple members, trying to keep up Coconut, and a beautiful headshot right into Sludge. Make that 2 kills for True Donger in this fight, getting the third on the getting the second on 630. But Oni comes back with a double kill with the tactical visor. Somehow, with Desert Flame trying to keep themselves alive in this match. It's only the support to Shrugsix and Zasper. Shrugsix will fall to a railgun shot, and Zasper will be unable to touch Volcanic. Get the first map in this series, but it was not as easy as people would anticipate here, Clock.
Yeah, a 2-0, but not exactly a clean 2-0. Especially right there on that point. It was kind of back and forth. At one point with True Donger getting the 2 kills to bring it back when it looked like Desert Flame was in control, and then suddenly you get 2 kills from the Illari, and suddenly it's just equal opportunity for Volcanic to just get right back in the fight. And this is a team that will out-scrap you if you let them.
Have to be careful if you are the side of Volcanic or the side of Desert Flame. You really have to be able to know what the situation is, find those sort of advantages here, and be able to take them for your own. But now, as the first map concludes, we head over to the second map, which Desert Flame does get the map choice for a hybrid map of Paraíso, Hollywood, and I'm trying to remember the last one. Excuse me. I'm getting the information here as quickly as possible.
Eichenwald.
Thank you. Eichenwald is the third map choice here, Clock. So, what map does Desert Flame want to run here? Obviously, it seems like they want to stick to that brawl comp, but do they want to try to change it up here, try and find an advantage for their own, to try and get an advantage in the series?
I feel like if you're going to try to stick to that defensive Illari comp, then you're kind of going to want to stick with something that, you know, isn't really super diveable, that makes it really hard for them to get onto you. Personally, I like Pariso with that comp because you can straight up deny that high ground on first point with it, especially if you have multiple different angles like you get from the Illari, the BAP, Sojourn. Like, you can control that really well on a map like Pariso first, and even on Pariso second, because it's really hard to pass up to that high ground to be able to dislodge them and to be able to shut those angles down.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever map is going to be the choice, though, there is a swap coming in for the side of Volcanic. Azure is coming in for Slimole here, so we'll have to see if that's going to make any changes here in the support line. We saw Slimole primarily on the Illari as well as on the Mercy here, so probably subbing in Azure means you want to try to go for a different style of support composition here, Clock. So we'll see what Azure is able to bring to the team and if their influence is going to help Volcanic go up 2-0 in this series.
This is definitely an interesting swap because Azure is primarily a DPS player, so seeing them switch in means that they definitely are probably going to lean more towards like the Bapillari comp, and they want somebody that, you know, is a little bit more mechanically gifted than a main support. No offense to Slimole, but, you know, typically you don't think of mechanics all the time when you think of main support, but even though he is a good player, you're going to want somebody who is going to reliably hit those shots on either Illari or on BAP.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely want a player that can hit those heads whenever necessary, whether it be on the DPS or support. Find a way to hit heads on Ana and actually get some big kills with it, and then I'll actually give you some big bucks there. But regardless of which, we'll have to see. We're still waiting for the map choice here for the side of Desert Flame and what they want to try to go for here to try and bring the score up 1-1 entering halftime. But while we wait, by the way, but this season, we're not just introducing an Ascendant Tier, we're also introducing a B stream. If you want to check out the other match that's happening today, which is Team Max Fishing versus Team Dia from my Divinity Dia, excuse me. Team Max Fishing versus Dia, or Divinity Dia, that is happening on twitch.tv/TranquilityGG2. So if you want to witness yet another Ascendant Tier banger, make sure you tune into that match as well. Or you can watch both our streams at the same time. I won't complain if you prefer one over the other.
Yeah, I believe the link is posted somewhere in the server to be able to watch both links or both streams at the same time. I'm pretty sure Yeti posted a multi-stream somewhere in the server. I just don't remember where. I'm drawing a blank on it.
I think sometimes it's also posted in the Twitch chat if you're watching that, but regardless of which, we're going to be heading over to our next map, which the choice from Desert Flame here is Hollywood Clock. So not the sort of sustainability map that we were expecting out of Paraiso, but this could still be a map that you can sustain heavily on if you are very good at sustainability.
This is still a really good map to be able to play the anti-dive on first. Speaking from my own experience in scrims, there's a really good turret spot up towards the top of the wall if you're holding that first high ground instead of the cafe for the Illari healing pylon, to be able to just sustain you throughout the fight, and then you have the BAP to be able to keep you guys alive from any poke damage that the healing turret doesn't manage to catch, and then you can just have your Illari firing for free while she goes to build that Captain's Stun.
Yeah, I also noticed one swap coming out here for the side of Volcanic. Aplom is coming in here for that support role as well. So now both supports from the side of Volcanic last map are no longer in here. So that means they're probably going to be running this same composition that we saw them on before, Clock. But right now they're running pretty much what we saw from them before, except Coconut is on the Widowmaker and Cam is on the Sigma here, which is a pick that I am very confident in.
The Widow Sig on this map, particularly on first point, is kind of an interesting choice. It's not something that I could genuinely say I expected, because typically, like, if you're going for something pokey, you might as well go for the Orisa and just have the extra sustainability that Orisa offers, but having the shield, I guess, and being able to contest an extra angle with the Widowmaker could be advantageous for Volcanic here if they play this right.
Yeah, definitely. Volcanic. Let's see what their setup is. Cam is set up on the high ground with Recurve and Azure in pocket, and Coconut is set up all the way on the far end of the world. Coconut might not be able to get a one-shot from that distance. Still, however, going to be peppering damage, especially with Oni playing the Echo here from the side of Desert Flame, trying to provide some extra damage. But Desert Flame, however, flanking around Sludge and, I believe, Zasper over there. No, it's Sludge and Shrugstix on the side there, just trying to poke out the Widowmaker from a distance here. Desert Flame still waiting for that perfect opportunity to engage as Coconut's still looking to try and bust somebody's Coconut. So far has not been able to find anything. A lot of damage pumped into 630 there, just barely able to stay alive as Asper does get hit with that accretion from Cam. So far, no blood exchange. Again, just bandages, and now finally Coconut finds the first blood in this fight, gets the headshot kill onto Shrugs. So Desert Flame, you're down one of your primary supports. You have to back out of this fight.
Yeah, as they do start to back out, we see somebody is isolated towards the Mega Room. It is Sludge, and Coconut is going to take his head off.
Yeah, Coconut now showing up on this Widowmaker now. Already burning off a minute here for the side of Desert Flame on their attack. Coconut looking for more so far. Hasn't been able to find anything right now. Jasper stuck in that small room. Will get picked out by Cam here, and that just opens the wound even more here for the side of Desert Flame.
Yeah, it opens the wound a little bit, but what makes it worse, Cam has the Gravitic Flux right here. So basically, they got to be careful to not get too clumped up, and this is a bunker-style comp. Everyone can be picked up except for the Orisa, so they got to be really careful about the follow-up as Sludge gets his head taken off.
Yeah, Coconut is currently on a rampage right now. We'll see if Desert Flame have any answers for it, because right now it seems like that they are struggling. Now they're just all hiding behind the farthest corner they can just to avoid the Widowmaker's line of sight. We'll see if they decide to go through that small room on the right. Right now, it looks like they're trying to focus main. But here comes that Gravitic Flux coming out from Cam. Lands onto 3, and Zasper dies first. The Immortality Field unable to keep that Baptiste alive. Now Cam pressuring out Sludge as well from the high ground. Gets some assistance from Aplom there to get rid of that Sojourn. And now Volcanic holding very comfortably so far here on Hollywood with over 2 minutes burned from the side of Desert Flame.
Volcanic is definitely making me eat my words about this possible Sigma defense. Like, they are playing this absolutely so clean. Oni hasn't really been able to get any poke in because the threat of Coconut recurve, basically you have quad hit scan from the side of Volcanic as Shrugsik also gets his head taken off. Coconut on the rampage. They need to find a way to shut him down on this Widowmaker or it's going to be over really fast.
They call them Coconut because all they do is bust your Coconut open right now. Just been an absolute menace on this Widowmaker so far, finding a lot of headshots one by one here. Desert Flame looking for their try and entry in, but it's going to be difficult here with that Infrasight online. Coconut holding a very forward angle, and now Aplom uses the Amplification Matrix to even more stall out the time. So all Desert Flame are forced to do is just wait in that corner until the Matrix is gone. Now the engagement opportunity comes in, trying to make their move into the point. Recurve pops the overclock here. Immortality Field from Zasper burnt already, and they end up falling to the hands of Coconut. Not a headshot this time, as Recurve did pump some bullets into them. Oni duplicates over to that Sigma, trying to find anything, and will end up finding a railgun to the head. Right now, Volcanic just doing a really good job of sustaining here in this fight. 630 trying to look for anything. Oni does get the kill here onto Coconut as the Captain Sun comes out here from Shrugsik. As it does, it comes from Azure. Azure trying to find anything right now, but so far it's just finding space full of sunlight from Shrugsik. And finally, Desert Flame have broken down the doors and are finally stepping on the objective.
Yeah, they're finally managing to get on the point after that initial pick from Oni, but Coconut has taken another head off. Shrugsik is dead, but it's not going to matter. Volcanic is not going to get a chance to get back in here.
Yeah, Volcanic are going to have to give up this first point here, so we'll see what the move is going to be here, as it will be the first point going in the favor here for the side of Desert Flame, and now they're pushing that card through the streets of Hollywood.
Yeah, as they begin the streets phase here, the poke comp from Volcanic, though, having Cam up on that first high ground is going to be really difficult for Desert Flames, as they do switch over to the Winston dive with the Anakiri, so this is an interesting switch for them.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what the move is here from Desert Flame. Obviously want to go for this dive composition. 6 going up to the high ground, is unable to land up there, however, does trigger the mine coming out from Coconut, but now Sludge is on a rampage. They are mad for how long they've been held. 2 kills so far with the overclock. Cam does pop the Gravitic Flux, lands onto a few. Coconut finishes out Sludge here. Meanwhile, Cam's just trying to finish off 630 on the Winston. Will be able to with those spheres, and all of a sudden Desert Flame, they had some sort of advantage, and it has just been wiped away by the face of the earth from Cam.
Yeah. Right as you think that Sludge's overclock gets him a nice little advantage, Cam just manages to pull it back there with a couple of quick final blows. Coconut getting a pick in that fight too. With the Infrasights coming up here, they're going to know exactly where Desert Flame is coming from, as Sludge has switched over to the Sombra, but if Coconut pops the Infrasight, you're not really going to be able to get set up.
Yeah, definitely. Sludge is Sombre is a risky pick, and I mean, that's already a good pick. They went up the elevator and then hit Coconut straight in the head, eliminating the Widowmakers. The Infrasight now offline here for the side of Volcanic. 630 dives up to the high ground, finds Recurve on the opposite high ground, and dives straight onto the Sojourner. So now Dome DPS here for the side of Volcanic, and 630 wanted more, but ends up getting burnt out by Cam in the aftermath. That card still moving, however, is now both supports here for Volcanic set up on the high ground. The window invested here from Aplom trying to burn down Sludge. Won't be able to get that final elimination, but still, the kills all going in favor of Volcanic. It's now 40 seconds left for Desert Flame.
Yeah, I'm kind of questioning the amplification matrix a little bit, but it is a very quick ult, especially with the Sigma comp being able to farm this. But the Pulse Bomb here from Oni and the Nano Monkey engage here could be big from Desert Flame, but Azure and Aplom, they're going to have to be able to sustain their tank, but you got to be aware those two snipers from Volcanic, they can pop your head at any moment.
It's all going to come down to this nano boost from Zasper if they're able to use it at a perfect time here for Desert Flame. And now 630 looking for the jump, but Oni already dies to a kunai to the head from Azure. The nano boost from 630 is applied, but it won't be able to get anything right now as they were booped up the high ground by Cam. Not a good start at all here for the side of Desert Flame, as Sludge does push the cart a little bit, but they are forced to translocate out. Overtime now triggered here. Recurve trying to finish out 630 as the Primal Rage is popped here by the opposing Winston. Still looking for more value. Volcanic trying to stop this cart in their tracks, but 630 is back. Stepping on the cart, trying to use that Primal Rage. Azure finishes out Shruzix, however, after the Kitsune Rush was used here. Rest of Desert Flame trying to touch the cart, but it doesn't look like they'll be able to. Oni back on the cart, does get the Pulse Bomb out, but only finds the Immortality Field as the round completes. At Desert Flame, they only get that cart over 98 meters.
Yeah, actually not too bad for how they started. It looked like they were going to be full held on first point, and they managed to bring it back. And just being able to bring it back right there is huge, but they have got to do something about Coconut on this Widowmaker if they want any chance to break through. But if Coconut plays the Widowmaker here on attack, they need to be aware of where Coconut is at all times. And they also got to do a little bit more to be able to put resources into dislodging their tank, as Cam was able to just sit on the high ground and send in Hyperspheres for absolute free, just constant generating all charge.
Yeah, definitely. So now Volcanic coming out on the Desert Flame, excuse me, coming out on the defense, and we see them running pretty much what we saw there from the attack of Volcanic, apart from the one difference being that the DPS duo is Soldier Torb and not Widow Sojourn here.
Yeah, Soldier Torb with this is kind of interesting, but, you know, it looks like they just kind of want to play this just as pokey, especially trying to mirror the Sigma here on the defense that Cam was doing on their defense. I don't know if this is something Desert Flame has really practiced, or if out of desperation they're trying for the Sigma poke comp, but this is a really good high sustain comp. You have Soldier and Torb who both have abilities to sustain themselves, but Volcanic is on Doomfist looking to really dislodge them.
Yep, Cam on the Doomfist. If you watch the intro for our Tranquility VOD, you will know that only getting a headshot on the Coconut is not there, but Cam getting the 4K punch off the map is. So definitely Doomfist, one of Cam's specialty heroes. Unfortunately, I may or may not have hyped them up too much, and they end up getting a Helix Rock to the face, courtesy of Sludge. Desert Flame so far making this defense work.
Just a little bit of disappointment there after you hyped up Cam just for him to die instantly. I see what Volcanic is going for here. They're trying to dislodge this comp, but they definitely got to use Cam's CC abilities to try anything to isolate a target, just and hope that during the time that Cam is distracting them, that Coconut can find someone's head.
Yep, Oni right now is on the point, gets punched out by Cam, and is starting to get pressure coming in from Azure, but Azure is able to teleport out with that Kiriko ability. Coconut now trying to peek from the angles, looking for the supports on top of the cafe where 630 is set up. Meanwhile, Recurve finds the kill onto Sludge, so Desert Flame now down one of their DPS. Oni is forced to use the Overload, and the Immortality Field from Zasper has to come out to keep them alive. Zasper, however, finishes out Cam as his punch gets a little bit whipped over to the other side of the world. 630 now trying to push back out. Does get the kill into Aplom here to try and turn the tide as Volcanic looks like they're on the retreat here as Desert Flame continuing this hold. As I did, Recurve does fall. Never mind.
Yeah, when it comes to Volcanic, you can never quite say that they're on the retreat because they're one of those teams that can just randomly find a pick when they feel like it and somehow bring it back from the brink of defeat.
Definitely is. Volcanic now looking for the next opportunity to engage. Sludge went up to the cafe as well, so it looks like everybody from Desert Flame is currently set up in the cafe, so it's going to be a little difficult here for the side of Volcanic to try and dive in. It's even going to be harder considering Cam is now on the Sigma. Kitsune Rush comes out here from Azure to make the advantage here, as now Volcanic starting to make their way in. Window comes out here from Zasper to bring more damage onto the field. Captive Sun's used by both sides. Aplom uses it into the middle of the cafe, but the one from Shrugs is trying to get more value, but Shrugs is now out of the fight, courtesy of that Captive Sun from Aplom. Multicore has to be invested here from Oni. Is able to get the kill here onto Azure as Volcanic now looking like in a bad situation, and now they're out of the fight again.
Yeah, that's another fight lost and more time burnt off. He's looking for the hammer, but Sludge takes it away. Sludge, how are you going to do that to Oni?
I mean, in credit, I saw 3 hammer kills yesterday. I don't think I could take any more if I had to average 2 hammer kills a day in Tranquility. Regardless of which, Volcanic now trying to make some swaps. Coconut over to the Hanzo here. So this, we'll have to see if this is the pick that is going to help Coconut and Volcanic find the engagement in. Recurve on the high ground, peppering down at that shield from 630, forces out the kinetic grasp. Right now, Volcanic trying to find their way in. The turret from Oni is gone. Now Oni is their last remaining soul on the point. Overclock invested here from Recurve. Forces out the Immortality Foot from Zasper once again. So far, no kills resulted from However, Coconut finds a perfect headshot right onto Shrugs. Gets rid of one of the main healers. Now the Gravitic Flux comes out here from 630. Does land to a few, but is unable to get any sort of final blows. Now with Sludge and Zasper out of the fight, you have to imagine Volcanic have finally found their way in this fight.
Yeah, Volcanic finally found a way to break through, and it all started with the swaps that they made, putting Cam onto the Sigma, which definitely seemed to be working better for him than the Doomfist today, but Coconut switching over to the Hanzo, having multiple final blows in that fight to take the point. I saw at one point, Coconut body blocked Sludge, so Sludge couldn't get any value out of the visor right before dying.
Yeah, so that's definitely a good way to be able to keep your team alive here. And Coconut still going to town, gets that headshot onto Sludge here to start off the fight here. So with your soldier out of the fight, it's going to be difficult here for Desert Flame to try and sustain. In fact, they have to give up the high ground. They have to go all the way back down to where the cart is supposed to be moving to. Meanwhile, that cart is just moving for free here for the side of Volcanic.
Ippom does have that turret up top to be able to help heal Cam as he goes for the Gravitic Flux, and it's massive!
Ooh. 3 people caught in that Gravitic Flux. No kills resulted as the Immortality from Zasper is perfectly placed. The only person not caught in is Shrugs, was able to use that outburst to keep the team alive. Coconut now misses the Dragon Strike. The Dragon Strike does not get anything with it as Sludge does find the kill here into Aplom, so that pick could give advantage here for the side of Desert Flame, but right now, they're just trying to push right to the cart. Continue rush used here by Azure as down Desert Flame. Take that aggressive angle. Shrugs finds the melee kill onto Coconut. Meanwhile, Desert Flame still trying to equalize. There goes the beautiful Captain Sun into the backline. Shrugs finds 4 in this fight as Desert Flame continue the momentum, and you can tell Shrugs is happy about that.
Yeah, fantastic play right there on the Captive Sun from Shrugsik. There was no Suzu to cleanse the Captive Sun, and being able to set that chain reaction off with just the pure mechanics was actually a great play, showing that this support can get the kills themselves when needed.
Definitely now Volcanic trying to make their way back in. They don't have any ults to the name apart from that overclock, which is currently at 71%. They're taking the high ground once again. Desert Flame set up on the opposing side of the bridge here. See if Desert Flame are willing to say you shall not pass, but right now Volcanic are passing indeed. Molten Core invested here from Oni. He's able to get the kill into Aplom here, so a good start so far here for the side of Desert Flame. Sludge peeking from the low ground now as that cart approaches the final destination. 8 meters left here for the side of Volcanic, but now they're down the healing pylon. They're now down Aplom's healing pylon and are still waiting for that Allure to come back into the fight. And now Oni finds that perfect headshot onto Azure. You have to imagine Volcanic could retreat, but Recurve pops the overclock. Still trying to find more, but eventually all the members of Volcanic die one by one, and now it's last fight territory for Volcanic to try and get this point.
35 seconds left on the clock though. Cam does have the Gravitic Flux. Any potential follow-up here has to be negated by that Immortality Field from Zasper here, or Desert Flame is going to be in a bad spot. But they do have the overclock here from Sludge, so this could potentially be their fight-winning ultimate. They need value out of this.
Sludge has done incredible things with the overclock before in this match. We'll see if they are up for the challenge here today. Gravitic Flux comes out from Cam, but already Sludge finds a railgun shot onto Recurve before the overclock is even popped. What a good start coming out here. Cam, however, equalizes, gets the kill onto Zasper here as the rest of Volcanic trying to push forward. Here comes the Captain Sun coming out from Shrugs. This lands onto a few members and is able to get 1 so far onto Coconut. Make that 2 for Shrugs in this fight. Shrugs trying to bring this back here for the side of Desert Flame. Does get picked out by Azure, but Sludge is able to finish out the Kariko, and the hammer kill from Oni gets rid of Cam in the aftermath. Desert Flame cleaning up this point 1 by 1. Recurve will be the last casualty as Desert Flame tie up the series going into halftime.
fantastic play there at the end from every member of Desert Flame, being able to, despite the disadvantage that they were facing there, they basically ended up just finding a way to make the mechanical plays that they needed to be able to pull that fight out. The fantastic captive stun there and the chain reaction followed up with the overclock going on from Sludge, and the Gravitic Flux from 6, just, it was too much for Volcanic right at the end.
Yeah, definitely Volcanic just unable to deal with the pressure of Desert Flame, and they were taken advantage of. So Desert Flame showing that they have some merit to them in this season, taking a map off of the preseason runner-ups in Volcanic. So definitely we have a strong series on our hands here, Clock, but these two teams do get a halftime to try and think about what they're going to be doing after that. So when we come back, we will be seeing the conclusion of this epic series, if Volcanic will be able to rebound from losing the preseason finals, or if Desert Flame are going to bring on the upset and get their first win in the Ascendant Tier. We'll see you after the break. So far, this matchup for the Ascendant Tier is heating up. literally, Volcanic and Desert Flame are currently tied in the series here to start off the Ascendant Tier. Bowsy once again joined here by Clock. And Clock, we're in for an interesting next map here. It's going to be interesting to see what Volcanic decide to do. They get map choice, and they're also putting Slimal back in here for Azure.
Yeah, putting Slimal back in, I think they feel like it definitely gives them a little bit more flexibility since Slimal is more of a natural support player. It's going to be interesting to see what map we're playing here as we go into Escort. I had to think about the map type for a second. I could not remember for the life of me.
It's fine, happens all the time, but Escort is the map pick. Route 66 is one of the map choices alongside Dorado and Circuit Royale, so... Or not Route 66, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of a different tournament. Dorado, Circuit Royale, and Rialto are the map choices that you get to choose from here, so we'll have to see what these two teams are willing to think about. And while we're waiting for those teams to really get their decisions together, there are other matches that have finished up already in the Ascendant Tier. In the same group that these two teams are located in Indigo B, Throwing Her Bad and Reborn Racers have claimed 3-0 victories over Ember and Holy Koalas respectively. So already a good start for those two teams in this group. We'll see if they're able to continue it as the season goes on. Meanwhile, in Indigo A, Frostfisher has taken a 3-0 win over Pristine Angels, and in Orem B, Titan have taken a big victory over Luminosity, 3-0. And Hivemind Academy is currently up 2-0 up against PDL. And Chicago Deep Dish, the preseason champion, starting off on the right foot. They get a 3-0 win versus Bubble Tea. Reckless Alpha and Bonkers are currently at 2-1 right now in favor of Reckless Alpha. And Second Chance was able to get a 3-0 sweep over Atlas Arcadia. So some teams in the Ascendant here having some pretty good starts, while others are making big names for themselves here, Clock.
Yeah, that's the thing that's going to be interesting about this uncapped tier this season is a lot of fresh teams, so we don't really know what to expect out of some of these teams. As we just got confirmation, our next map will be Circuit Royale.
Yep, Circuit Royale, and this kind of makes sense if you are a Volcanic player or a Volcanic fan, especially considering we saw a lot of Coconut on the Widowmaker last series, so I am very not surprised that we're seeing the Widowmaker-centric map of Circuit Royale, where snipers reign supreme, and you can't do anything about it. So we'll have to see what the adaptations are going to be from both of these teams, how many snipers we see on the side of Volcanic, and what Desert Flame's approach is going to be on this map.
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be interesting to really see if Desert Flame has a Widowmaker of Coconut's caliber that can match up to them, because if not, I'm expecting Volcanic to run away with this.
Definitely, we'll have to see what the moves are going to be, because definitely we saw a lot of different styles here. Volcanic did opt for a little bit of that dive style when it came to their attack on Hollywood, but they switched over to the Sigma style, which unfortunately did not get them over the finish line. While Desert Flame, we've seen the Orisa and we've also seen the Sigma, so it'll be interesting to see if Desert Flame have a dive in their pocket or if they're going to be sticking to that Sigma with the long-range poke to try and get the victory here on this map and go up to match point in the series. Of course, winner does go up to match point in this series, and then push will be our fourth map to decide if we go to a map number 5 or if it's going to be a 3-1 scoreline for one of these two teams.
These teams, no map 5. I don't think any of us can handle the map 5 tonight.
Yeah, I am already infamous for going to map 3s in the best of 2 for Bad Pachamari League, so I really don't want to go to a map 5, but right now, no surprise to see what Volcanic are running on the defense here. Clock, we see the Widowmaker from Coconut, we see the Sojourn from Recurve.
Yeah, not a shock actually in the slightest. Seeing the Sojourn though here instead of like the Hanzo is interesting, because typically you do see the Hanzo on this map, but the Sojourn can work just as well, just not as much one-shot potential, especially at the longer ranges as that Hanzo offers. Desert Flame also having a different variation than Volcanic, as Aplom is going to be on that Alari, while Shrugs is going to be on the... They're going to be on the Zenyatta, so a little bit more poke here from Desert Flame.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see if his composition works here for the side of Desert Flame as they come out here with this poke. So far, no shots exchanged at the door front as you see Sludge going all the way on the angle, trying to take that very far angle to try and find any sort of shots. We'll see if Sludge is able to find any sort of heads, or will be getting their head taken off here. Finds a shot, almost lands it onto Recurve, but misses it. This is not a shot that you want to miss there, because now the enemy knows about your location, and Coconut can just do that. Coconut can take your head clean right off, and Coconut living up to the name, just busting Coconuts every single time. Once again, Volcanic getting the hold from now.
Yeah, Coconut has definitely proven that they are a very proficient Widowmaker. You cannot miss at a single shot on the Coconut, because if you miss, Coconut will not, and you will be without your head really quick.
That's the two teams meeting up again. Both Sigmas using that kinetic grasp, trying to absorb any sort of damage here. Desert Flame trying to find their way in here. We'll see if they're able to get any sort of pressure right now. But right now, Volcanic doing really good stabilizing with Cam in the front line and those supports on the back line. I believe I saw Coconut moving back, and yeah, because Coconut is 1 health. They were hit by something, either an arrow or an almost fatal blow from Sludge. So Desert Flame trying to take advantage of that, but Coconut back in the fray and back in the kill feed, finds that kill once again on the Sludge, but Oni answers back with a headshot onto the Widowmaker. Here comes the Gravitic Flux coming out from Cam, trying to equalize. A lot of damage dumped into the members of Desert Flame, and Cam is pushing forward, trying to capitalize off it. Oni in the grave, courtesy of a railgun shot from Recurve, and now Volcanic starting to apply this pressure once more.
Yeah, Volcanic coming back, putting the pressure in, and just Cam on the Sigma is doing a fantastic job of being able to separate people with his shield and just creating these odd little matchups that Volcanic is just able to pressure out entire angles from that shield position.
Yeah, definitely is. Cam does get the kill onto 630 as well here, so it's not looking good here if you are a Desert Flame fan right now. Just trying to find any sort of sustainability, but Cam will not allow you. Just pushes right into your face, says hello, and sends you back to spawn.
And Coconut are both doing a lot of work. Recurve does have that overclock here, as Aplum does have the Captive Sun. Two massive fight-winning potential ults here for Volcanic, as Desert Flame is down to about 1:39. So it's going to be do or die time real soon.
Creature comes out here from Cam to start the fight early. 630, obviously looking for this Gravitic Flux. We'll see if they're able to do it. Sludge going from the high ground. Here comes the Gravitic Flux from Cam. Forced out the Transcendence and the Immortality Field here for the side of Desert Flame. And Zasper walks around the corner and gets their head shaved clean off. Cam gets the kill into Oni as well here. And Desert Flame are just struggling to try and find any sort of momentum, as this has just been a very good hold here from Volcanic.
Yeah, Volcanic is playing the Sigma comp really well. And here's the thing, they didn't pop either of the ults that I said were going to be huge in that fight. They still have both of them. And there is 1 minute on the clock. We are approaching last fight territory rapidly for Desert Flame, as Shrugzik is going to switch to the Alari.
We'll see if that Alari switch helps out Desert Flame here in the late hours. Oni does get a good shot, finds the kill onto Coconut early, and unleashes the Dragon Strike right through the main, and Sludge answers back with a kill onto Aplum, and finally Desert Flame have broken their way through these doors and are moving that cart toward the first point.
They finally managed to break through, but there is a chance here for Volcanic to come in, especially as Aplum still has that Captive Sun, has not popped it. There is a chance for him to pop it here on the cart if they can get back and probably set that chain reaction off. Cam, gonna be probably looking to eat that ult.
We'll have to see if 630 is able to eat the ult here. The pressure comes out here. Captive Sun comes out here from Aplum. Does not land on anything, it seems, as the overclock also comes out from Recurve. Trying to put in the pressure here. Just forces Desert Flame back, however. Zasper pops the Amplification Matrix to continue the aggression. Cam just trying to hold this point for his life right now. Aplum does get the kill on the Sludge, so now Desert Flame down their Widowmaker. But now here comes the Gravitic Flux from 630. Lands onto Cam, who's currently trying to hold the front line. Now the Amplification Matrix of Slimal lands right in front of Cam, and they burns down 630 to the ground, courtesy of those spheres. The rest of Volcanic just piling on top of Desert Flame, and that card is not going to reach that first checkpoint. It'll come barely shy of it. Now Desert Flame, a very tough task for them to hold.
Taps window at the end there from Slimal, as that window just the double pressure right there coming through with the double damage. It just ended up forcing Desert Flame to try to play in weird positions to avoid the window, but because they still had to touch the cart, they were directly in the path of the window and just fell over like dominoes.
Yeah, definitely so. Really good window there coming out from Slimal to keep Volcanic in that fight and keep them alive. So now Desert Flame have a very hard task. They have to try and fuller hold Volcanic after they full held them. So we'll see what the response is going to be here from Desert Flame, what they want to try to run. If they want to try to run the snipers, or if they're going to run a brawl composition and go right up to the doors of Volcanic. But definitely, it's going to be a hard task. And right now, we see the compositions. Sludge is showing the Widowmaker, and Desert Flame look like they want to go for that double sniper comp once again, Clock.
I mean, that's pretty much kind of standard par for the course here for Volcanic and for Desert Flame, but we're seeing the switches in the spawn, but I'm not expecting it. Right now, we're just watching Cam horribly play the piano. That giant suit is not exactly Not exactly good for skilled piano playing. I don't know. Maybe if he hops out, he might be a good piano player in his hamster form. But yeah, that ball is not exactly good for playing the piano.
Let it be known, everybody, do not put a hamster on a piano. They will not know how to play. If you give a hamster a piano, they will make your ears burst out in blood. But now Desert Flame, we'll have to see what they decide to go for here, how this hold is going to work. Volcanic, I am interested. Recurve is on the Pharah with Slimo as a pocket, so Recurve obviously going to try to look for some pressure through that roof access, so we'll see if it works here, as it is forcing Desert Flame to a back position, trying to keep away from this Pharah's line of sight. This could be the key that Volcanic needs to unlock this point for their own in a quick and fashionable manner here, Clock.
Recurve is very comfortable on this Pharah, and with the Mercy Pocket, the ability to burst things down, followed up by any Hyperspheres from Cam, could actually result in very quick picks, but there is the double sniper comp from Desert Flame to worry about as Coconut takes the Coconut off of Sludge before finding Trugzix.
Yeah, Coconut already finds 2 in this fight, looking for a third, as now Volcanic just pushing forward. We'll be able to get rid of that Immortality Field as Recurve does finish off Oni, and now all the kills going blue in the kill feed. A team kill here for the side of Volcanic, just trying to clean it up. Sludge is on the Tracer, 1 health to the name, but is trying to touch the point. Nope, we'll get hit by a rocket, and Volcanic, a dominating Circuit Royale to bring us to match point.
Fantastic choice there for Volcanic to go to Circuit Royale. Clearly a comp and a map that they have practiced a lot. They looked incredibly comfortable on that map and basically just asserted their will from the get-go on this map.
I don't even know how Coconut noticed that headshot kill onto Sludge, regardless of which, definitely the pressure from Volcanic was just too much for Desert Flame to handle. And now, we know what their comfort zone is, and now Desert Flame know what Volcanic's comfort zone is, so pushes the next map. Does Desert Flame choose a map that will not suit Volcanic's strong points, or do they pick a map that will suit their strong points but might also help out Volcanic?
I feel like Desert Flame is going to try to pick something that is going to try to hinder Volcanic. We've seen that Volcanic does like to run the pharmacy, so I can see them kind of gravitating away from like Esperanza and New Queen Street, maps that have very high skyboxes, and maybe going towards like Coliseo, because it's a lot harder to run the pharmacy inside of the Coliseum. So I don't know, maybe I could see them trying to do that, especially if they're going to run this Bapillari Orisa comp.
Yeah, definitely could be an interesting switch. On the other side, however, Coliseo is a heavy Widowmaker map, especially on that first choke, which is literally a line. When you're in that Coliseum, it is very difficult to be able to get an advantage on the Widowmaker unless you know that she's there, and the Widowmaker can pick you out. So we'll have to see what the move is going to be here from the side of Desert Flame as they do get that map choice. We'll have to see if it's going to work into their favor, because right now they're in desperation territory. Volcanic need 1 more win to get their first win of the regular season here in the Ascendant Tier.
Yeah, Desert Flame knows that they're on match point. They're going to want to pick their most comfortable push map in an effort to send it to map 5. But in the event that we do go to a map 5, Volcanic won control very heavily. So, and you got to think, Volcanic is just coming off a different type of escort. So the momentum might be in their favor on this type of game mode.
It could very well be, as Coliseo is the map choice here for Desert Flame. So, I mean, you said it yourself. This is a map where Pharah cannot get a lot of value because there's such a low skybox. So we'll see if that plays as a factor here for Desert Flame. But on the other side, we'll see if Coconut decides to pop out that Widowmaker on that starting push. I don't think it's likely, because you want to try to push with a more aggressive composition here on Coliseo. But we'll have to see what the move is going to be here from Volcanic and how they're going to try to respond to try and get that win in a 3-1 victory. Desert Flame trying to bring us to a map number 5 as we head into the streets of Rome.
Yeah, with 20 seconds on the clock, we still don't know what kind of compositions they're running here. But one thing that is interesting is Truedonger came back in for Aplom.
Yeah, that is a very interesting switch. So obviously Volcanic is comfortable here with this support lineup for their control maps. Truedonger was in on the first map. Aplom came in for the second and third map. So obviously we'll see if Truedonger is going to make a difference here as we see the 2 compositions coming out. And no surprise, Recurve is back on the Pharah clock.
Yeah, it's not a surprise, but at the same time it is, because once you get into the Coliseum, in the middle portion of the map, it is really difficult to get anything done on the Pharah unless you're taking a really wide angle and shooting through some of these windows.
Definitely, so we'll see how it's going to advantage. It's going to be in the advantage here for Volcanic. Cam is back on that Sigma as well, so not as mobile of a tank as they were running before, like the Wrecking Ball, so sticking with that long-range poke here is Volcanic. Desert Flame running on the tried and true, this time with the Torbjorn in tow. Oni on the Torbjorn. This is exactly what I've been seeing for the past 2 weeks ever since Alari was released. We'll see if Volcanic is going to take advantage of it. Right now, Recurve gets a perfect angle right into that side room where Desert Flame are set up and already has 40% to their ult in 30 seconds. Trying to set a world record pace and an any percent speed run here for fastest barrage into Tranquility right now is Recurve. Coconut, however, also gets the kill into Zasper, so Desert Flame now down their main support. Shrugzix is the only one there. Oni loses their turret as well. Oni falling one by one. Recurve gets the final blow into that, and Volcanic now in the advantage. They start pushing that cart forward.
Volcanic playing that exactly how they need to. Cam does go down at the end here, but the numbers advantage is so strictly in Volcanic's favor that Cam is just going to get resurrected by Slimo as soon as the fight is over. And Recurve does have 95% to that barrage. They're going to have it going into the next fight.
Yep, they will indeed have that barrage, so we'll see if Recurve's barrage is the difference maker. We already see Oni switching back over to the Soldier, trying to get rid of that Pharah faster here, so we'll see. It works in favor here for the side of Desert Flame, who are trying to hold that bot before it gets under the Coliseo Bridge. But Recurve is just pumping in so much damage into 630, forcing that Orisa to back up. And now both of the deployables down here for the side of Desert Flame, the healing pylon and the immortality field gone. Now here comes the barrage from Recurve, goes right in, gets the kill on Destructus, but it costs them their life for it. Gets killed out by Oni on that Soldier 76, but Coconut on the Soldier and gets the railgun shot on the Sludge, equalizing the score here. Now the res goes back up onto Recurve here as Volcanic continuing this momentum, and they're going to get that first checkpoint almost convincingly here, Clock.
Yeah, capturing that first checkpoint in only 2 minutes is absolutely massive as the overclock is coming out here from Coconut as they do find Sludge.
Yeah, Coconut just trying to push forward as fast as possible. Finds 2 with the overclock, looking for a 3rd right now. Might not be able to find it in the alteration, but might be able to get it in the aftermath. Nope, Desert Flames is going right over to the spawn room, but Volcanic right now are on a steamroll right now. That volcano has erupted right now, Clock.
Yeah. Desert Flame definitely has to try to figure out something here to stop this momentum from Volcanic, or this is going to be an easy, quick map. And this might be the record for fastest push in Tranquility.
See if it is, as Volcanic right now just continuing the momentum, and Coconut will not be stopped. 2 kills so far on this Soldier in this fight. Shrugzix pops the Captain Sun, trying to turn it around here, but here comes that Gravitic Flux coming out from Cam, landing onto multiple members, Zasper and Sludge in the background as Recurve uses the barrage, expecting somebody to be there, but only ends up illuminating the healing pylon. And right now, Desert Flame is just waiting in the spawn room. They have the ults, however, Clock.
Yeah, they have ult here. They haven't had a good chance to pop as the visor is coming out here from Oni. Recurve is down. That's a huge opportunity here.
Definitely a huge opportunity, and Sludge's overclock is able to eliminate Slimo as well, so now your Far Mercy comp out of the equation. Desert Flame might have found their opening in this fight, but Coconut is still alive, finds the railgun shot onto Sludge, eliminating one of your DPS. 630 trying to hold this spot into the favor here for the side of Desert Flame, just pushing forward, uses the Terror Surge into the back line, will find Coconut with it. Cam also dies in the aftermath, and 630 lands a Javelin into True Dunger's heart. And Desert Flame finally have something to hold for, but that bot pushed all the way to the ends of the earth for Volcanic, and now Desert Flame have a hard task to live up to.
Yeah, there's still 6 minutes left on the clock, but that's a 133-meter lead. Right now, Volcanic can just kind of sit and protect their lead. They don't have to push all the way to the end. Yes, they would like to, but right now, they can just try to defend it. We should see a fight here in the middle, but forward spawns have been wiped.
Yep, forward spawns wiped here for Volcanic. Desert Flame still looking to try and apply this aggression. Only a switch over to the Echo here to try and do exactly that. 630 is just trying to hold out here on this Orisa, but is getting peppered down by Coconut, and Coconut able to get the railgun shot onto Sludge as well. Finds 2 in this fight. Again, the headshot onto Zasper with the overclock, looking for Oni in the backline. Meanwhile, True Dunger will eliminate 630. Volcanic right back in the driver's seat once again.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about with Volcanic all night. You give them an opening and they will take the whole thing really quickly, as Coconut just managed to break that fight open with the overclock, putting a ton of pressure. The Valkyrie here from Slimo going to be used to try to build up the rest of the ult, as Cam does almost have his Gravitic Flux as they switch over to the Diva.
Yeah, Coconut now also finds a headshot onto Oni to start out here. Desert Flame now without one of their major damages. Sludge switches over to the Tracer here as now here comes the Captive Sun from True Donner trying to land onto a big target. Waits for the Defense Matrix to come out here from 630 before unleashing that Captive Sun onto the D.Va. And Coconut also finds a headshot onto Sludge as well. Makes that 2 for Coconut in this fight. Looking for a third as the Gravitic Flux lands onto Zasper. Recurve will clean up the Alari. Right now the rest of Volcanic just trying to clean up. 630 just trying anything to stay alive. Will get killed out by Cam. Desert Flame trying to stall it out. Sludge is back on the point. Oni is back in the fight, but Oni will fall immediately, and Sludge is not long for this world, and that cart steadily approaching the final checkpoint. Shrugs his terror for the stall, but will unfortunately end up falling. 630's back here with the Doofus, but Zasper's Captive Sun gets eaten up by Cam's Kinetic Grasp, and Volcanic looking red hot in this series. They looked red hot last week in the preseason finals, and they're continuing that momentum here today as they are going to send Desert Flame home. Volcanic win 3-1.
3-1 win to extinguish the flame from the desert. The desert will not be warm tonight.
How ironic that it's the volcano that extinguishes the flame from the desert here, but nonetheless, Volcanic putting up a really strong performance all series long here. There was that one map loss on Hollywood, but at the end of the day, your preseason runner-ups are showing that they are willing to just contend with the best here in the Ascendant Tier, and are looking like a very heavy championship favorite so far in this match, in this series here, Clock, as well as for the rest of the season.
Definitely a good solid opening game from both teams. I want to give a shout out though to Desert Flame. Even in defeat, they still put up a hell of a fight on most of the maps. Like, they showed that they can, for the most part, contend with a team of Volcanic's level. That is not easy to do. So props to Desert Flame. Even in defeat, they showed some great stuff.
Yeah, definitely want to give some shout-outs to Desert Flame. 630 and Sludge definitely looked like the stars of the show, but everyone on Desert Flame being able to contest Volcanic and bring some maps pretty close, in addition to take a map off of the preseason runner-ups, you got to be proud of that if you're Desert Flame, so there's definitely things to look up for, but for now it is Volcanic erupting at the right time, finding that first victory here in the Ascendant Tier, and now Clock, with the series all wrapped up, we need to choose ourselves a player of the match from the side of Volcanic.
I gotta give it to Coconut. Coconut was constantly in the kill feed, whether it was on the Widowmaker, on Sojourn, just they were constantly in the kill feed all night.
Yeah. I think Coconut definitely is the strong pick for the player of the match, because Coconut was just a force to be reckoned with all series long. Definitely was one of the star-studded players in this matchup, and Volcanic, they got a pretty good chance if a Widowmaker meta comes up, because Coconut is going to live up to the task here. But that is it for our coverage here today. It's very fun to be able to see an Ascendant Tier and see the level of skill of these players get better and better as the seasons go on here, Clock. And I'm excited to see what the Ascendant Tier has in store for the rest of this season.
I am too, and it's going to be great as this teams start to get warmed up and as teams start to get used to playing in this tier. You know, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, but that'll do it for us for tonight.
Yeah, definitely. As you see all the highlights here from this amazing match, definitely one to watch. And if you are looking for more Tranquility action, well, there's some good news. Tomorrow, we finish up our first week of the tournament with our Discord tier feature match. And of course, we also have our podcasting programs, Bronze Banter, Silver Slander, and Gold Gossip happening every single week. I do not know the exact dates for those, but you can check on the Tranquility website at tranquility.gg to see any of those, as well as on the Tranquility Discord server. But what a series we witnessed here today. A lot of clutch plays from every single team and every single player. But that's going to do it for us here today. For my amazing co-caster Clock and our amazing observer MayLu, our producer MayLu, in addition to our observers Knock with Wood and everybody else who works in the Tranquility community, my name has been Bowsy. Until we meet again, we hope you have an amazing night, and we look forward to seeing you for the rest of the Tranquility Season 11 regular season.
What can we do? can't chat to them. Nobody like this.